Kaminsky, fucking good in the ball!
Chantel all the way to the basket. Foul, lays it in for two!
Morning, high school basketball fans. Welcome to another edition of the Upstate Hoops podcast on FingerLakes1.com. I'm Jim Sinicropi here inside the FingerLakes1.com studios on the third floor of the North Park building in Seneca Falls, New York. It's Sunday, February 9th, 2020. Another great episode this morning. Marcus Whitman Wildcats are in studio. Coaches, players, our coach players. Going to have a great talk with them. We're going to look at the sectional league standings. We're going to look at the updated power rankings and some games coming up in the week ahead. We're closing in on the end of the regular season, although it's a little pushback this year. I think usually around Valentine's Day, the regular season would end, but the season started a week later, so it's going to end. I think the last regular season games are on February 20th this year. But nonetheless, we are closing in on sectionals. The Upstate Hoops podcast and all of our coverage of Wayne Finger Lakes High School basketball is brought to you thanks to the support of Generations Bank, Little John Orthodontics, DeSanto Propane, and Bill Cram Chevrolet. So, like I said, we have Marcus Whitman Wildcats in studio. Coach O'Connor, welcome back.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your 100th win in December.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was a good accomplishment.
Yeah, and
a lot of great players coming through the program to help me out there.
That's kind of what it does when you hit a mark like that. It makes you think of all the teams you ever had.
Yeah.
So, Whitman Wildcats underway. Great season. We're going to talk all about it. Aidan Royston and Jordan Lahue, juniors, right?
Yep.
In studio. And then seniors, Liam Predergast and Seth, Benedict. Fellas, thanks for coming in. Did you stop by the hair salon on the way in, you guys? I mean, look at this. I don't think I've ever had this much hair in my studio. Look at these guys. So, you guys are 11-5. You're second in Class C1 standings right now behind Red Jacket. That's probably not going to change. We saw you on Tuesday night get a great win against Lyons. We're going to see you tomorrow night in Seneca Falls against Minders. And first thing I want to talk about was with your seniors especially. What's the goal this year? I know that you're going to answer, but I'm just asking anyway.
You got it. Like the sectional title. I mean, what else is there? We don't have a league title. We don't have anything. It's just that.
Yeah, 4 straight league titles, independent this year. And we interviewed you, Liam, at the end of the game, and I was going to ask you if you knew the last time Whitman won a sectional title. You answered before I even got the question out, so it was 1976. Rocky, the movie Rocky, won the Academy Award. MASH was on TV. Jimmy Carter, I think, just got elected president. So it was a long time ago. Seth, talk about some of the things that have happened this year, leading into this year. After last year, you lost in the Blue Cross Arena in the finals. Actually, you guys had bad luck past couple of years. You ran into private charter schools, really good teams, North Star Christian in the semis 2 years ago, and then C.G. Finney last year, which went on to beat Lyons and go to the state tournament. So how much of the focus is on a sectional championship in 1976? How much do you guys talk about it?
Oh, yeah, we talk about it every single day. Coach brings out the second place plaque that we got last year in the Blue Cross Arena and brings it out every single day. And it's kind of that, when you're feeling tired or getting down a little bit, you look over at that, and it's kind of a little reminder that, our goal is for that sectional title, and, we're going to keep working for that.
Right. How about you, Liam?
Yeah, I mean, I hate it when he brings it out every day. He keeps it in his little satchel, but he brings it.
You got a satchel just for
the he brings it out, but we don't like it, but it works.
So you guys won. Got a train going by here on Sunday morning. I also learned something in the post-game interview about Coach. You got a combination on the lock for the balls.
Yeah, the combination on the lock is 1976.
So every time that they want to shoot, they got to get into the cage and unlock with the 1976 code. Because, geez, I've followed you guys now for the past 5 or 6 years where seen you losing the semifinal in North Rose Wolcott in like 2014, and back then too, the West was pretty strong. There was Naples had a really strong team. Bloomfield was strong. When with this group did you start focusing on sectionals?
Since 5th grade. No, I'm just kidding. We really it's a process. Youth. Every program needs a youth program, a solid youth program to help out. And I've had a lot of volunteer coaches and parents helping out all the way since these guys were in travel, playing together all the way up through, starting in the Grape League, moving to the Grab League, continuing up, into some travel, doing some AAU together, all as a Whitman team. So there's been a lot of focus on just keeping them together, really, and they all play a lot of sports together as well outside of basketball. So it's been a focus for a while to get that sectional title.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you're going to play lacrosse at Lemoyne, right, Seth?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And Liam, you are a state cross country athlete, and Aidan, you as well went to the state cross country meet, right?
Not this year or last year, but
so the year prior.
Yeah.
Is what's your main sport?
I dabble in a little bit of everything. I'm still trying to figure it out. I was planning on doing track this spring, but I switched it up, and now I'm doing lacrosse, back to my roots.
Okay.
So still got to figure out what my main focus is, and right now basketball is my main sport because that's what season I'm in.
Sure. Yeah. Jordan, how about you? Basketball your number one sport?
Yeah, definitely basketball. Played it year-round for a couple of years, and that's definitely my main focus.
So let's look at the season so far. It's an independent schedule you guys are playing, which means you were in the Finger Lakes West for the past several years, and you really were dominating at 3 straight outright league titles. And as I mentioned, just coming up short in sectionals. And so, Coach, I'm assuming that the move to independent was to prepare for sectionals.
Yeah, like you said, we ran into a couple buzzsaws with North Star Christian, who went to states, C.G. Finney, who went to states, and it's just teams like that we really wanted to try to build our bulk of the schedule with, and then play more of teams that can really push us and have athletes and guys that are gonna push us to the limits.
Yeah, and then the Finger Lakes West is always entertaining basketball, but if you win the league so many years in a row, you're right, it's tough to get up against. There's certain games in that league that you guys know you're going to win going into it. Looking at your schedule here, almost every game that you've played is a challenge. Looking at some of the wins, you beat Calmum earlier this year. I think it might have been one of the first games, 73-64. They're the point leader in Class C3. You beat Minders, a B2 school from the Finger Lakes East. You beat Livonia the first time you played them, another B school. B1, I believe. North Star Christian, which was probably your signature win of the year, 76-66 in Geneva. They're an A school. And Wellsville, another B school. And then losses, you lost to Lyons. You came back and beat them the second time you played them. You lost at Geneva, again, another B1 school. Weedsport, Section 3 power, and a loss to Hornell and Livonia. So, the past few years you guys have just breezed through the regular season. 5 losses is probably more than you've had in the past 2 seasons combined. But certainly a better basketball team now, Coach, you think, than you would have been if you didn't play that schedule?
Absolutely. I think some of the adversity, too, and the unknown is really what this independent schedule has brought, because going into an Atwood gym, we had no idea what that was like.
Yeah.
None of us have played there. Going to Weedsport, they actually have a court where you can really only fit your foot on the sideline at a 3-point line. So their court's a little different. Just going down to different counties, Hornell and Livonia, it's nice to have that adversity and unknown, I guess, when we go in there of what's going to happen.
Yeah, and Liam, you think that have you enjoyed playing this schedule more?
Oh, yeah. It's like you said, there's some games last year and the years before we knew we were going to win. But this year it's we got to play to our best, and that's what I like. It's going to get us ready for those big games and sectionals.
And you guys at 11-5 have performed great. It could have I don't know if I want to say it could have backfired, but you could have been about 500 right now looking at this schedule. if things didn't go your way, in which case you're probably in the middle of the pack for sectional standings. But as it stands, you're a 2 seed. You're positioned pretty well. And you guys were all on the team last year that went to the Blue Cross. What was that like, Seth, playing on the floor at the Blue Cross?
It was a great experience, yeah. I mean, the outcome wasn't what we wanted, but, it was a very good experience. Feel bad that we didn't bring home that block for John Donovan, our lone senior, but it was a great experience, and I think having that motivates us and drives us each and every day to get back there.
Yeah, and it's interesting too that the top seeded team right now in C1 is Red Jacket, and they also went to this Blue Cross last year and lost to Lyons. Actually played them pretty tough, a really good Lyons team. And so now the talk being former Finger Lakes West opponent, that maybe you guys could meet up along the way. He'd be on separate sides of the bracket right now, I think, so it would be in the Blue Cross. That would kind of be a dream matchup. Jordan, last year, you played a lot last year, but John Donovan was point guard. This year it's more of your team. Just talk about, your role this year as opposed to last year.
I feel like just the whole team concept being unselfish last year. Obviously, John played on varsity since he was in 8th grade. Mm-hmm. He was the right man to play point guard to start. And just still playing hard last year just helped me prepare for this role this year. And still just, being unselfish, knowing your role, knowing what you got to do to help your team win.
Yeah, I watched John play for 5 years and thought he was a great player, and he is. And usually when you lose a player like that off your team, you might think, that's going to be tough to recover from. But I saw you play last year, and I said, I think they'll be all right. This Lahue kid's pretty good. And then against Lyons in the second half on Tuesday night, man, you turned it up to another level. Is that the best half of basketball you ever played?
I don't know. It's up there. It's up there.
Liam, you say no?
No, he's definitely had better halves.
Better halves than that one against Lyons? I think he had 15 points, maybe something like that in the second half. That was pretty impressive. But, yeah, talk about Red Jacket real quick. These are guys. The only disappointing thing about your independent schedule, and I was pretty pumped about it because I saw, okay, we're going to get to see these guys play Lyons. We're going to get them in Seneca Falls again against Minders. You guys played in that tournament in Geneva. But talk a little bit about, the one drawback I thought was maybe that Red Jacket Whitman matchup would have been a pretty good battle for that league title in the West. Talk a little bit about Red Jacket, the top seed in your sectional class right now.
I mean, they're all athletic. We played against them for 3 or 4 years, even in JV. Mm-hmm. And then I know Matt Record and Chase Rizzo run track, so I see them in the spring.
Okay.
But, I mean, they're all athletic. They're all ball players, so they're a good team.
Yeah. How about you, Seth?
No, they're just, they're aggressive, athletic team. They're going to give you everything they got when you play them. And, you can never look over them. You can't look past them. So you're going to have to play to your full potential when you play Red Jacket.
Mm-hmm. And, Coach, Red Jacket, let's just theoretically say that you guys run up against them. That's a tough matchup. I think you guys might be a little deeper, but man, they I was impressed seeing them play. The Rizzo kids is good. They have a big man. They have a couple big guys.
Yeah.
And Matt Record is a great player as well. Just talk a little bit about how you game plan maybe against a Red Jacket.
And again, they do have a lot of size. I mean, I think 2 guys kind of rotate through Hill, and I'm not sure what the other guy is. What is it? Demore, yeah.
Yes.
And, Rizzo, of course, is dynamic. He can drive. He can, get to the hoop well. Record can shoot threes and get to the hoop. They got, Borst can control the game.
Good point guard,
and then they've got that shooter, number 11. I can't remember his name, but either way, though, yeah, they're going to be a tough matchup because within their offense, I feel like any guy could possibly go down low and maybe create a mismatch because of the height that they have. But we'll have to definitely game plan for that a little differently than maybe we have before, because I feel like overall they'd be the tallest team we've seen. Maybe other than Geneva. Geneva had quite a bit of height, or Weedsport had some height
Weedsport was tall too.
Yeah, they were tall.
I think Red Jacket might have both those teams, in terms of height. But a lot needs to happen before that matchup was to take place.
Absolutely.
We're kind of keeping our fingers crossed. I think it would be a good one. But, to me, when we were driving up to the Blue Cross to broadcast that Lyons Red Jacket game, a lot of us thought it wouldn't be much of a game, but we were wrong. Those Red Jacket kids didn't back down after getting down early, and made it a game right till the end. So looking forward to potentially see you guys both do good, and in an ideal world that would be a great sectional final for sure. So if you go back to March 4th of 2015, you saw in the big opening of our broadcast there, the Stevenson kid makes the layup against Marcus Whitman, and that was a sectional semifinal game. And one reason it was such a big game is the winner obviously went to the sectional finals, but North Rose Wildcat hasn't won a sectional title since 1933, so I don't even think they had movies back then. I don't think, not only did Rocky debuted 40 years later, but so when there's that kind of history on the line, and it was such a great ball game, and the reason I bring that up is, how old were you guys when that was?
So what was it, 2015?
2014. I know, 2015, early 2015.
Yeah, 12, 13. I remember sitting in the stands.
On your broadcast, we're up in the stands with
we were up in the stands.
face paint and
Well, check this out right here on the screen.
oh no,
God. Oh, man.
Oh,
There's
Noah.
There's Ryan.
Oh, look at little Aidan.
Is that Jordan?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, man.
Look at you little dorks.
Where the heck was I? I was probably sitting with my dad.
You were sitting with your dad on the other side.
I was probably sitting with my dad.
So anyways, I thought that was pretty cool, and just for a visual aid, your coach labeled them for me there.
Oh, man.
Had to do it to us.
Yeah.
So Ryan Hildreth, Noah.
It's Noah Hildreth. Ryan Herod. Yeah.
Ryan Harrod, yeah.
Harrod.
Those guys are interchangeable. It's tough to keep them on the court, too.
Yeah.
They look very similar. And then Liam, Aidan, and Jordan, there you are. And so you guys were obviously into it, back then, and you stuck together. A lot of times you hear people talk about, we played together since we were young and stuff, but here's visual, evidence of you guys, bleeding Marcus Whitman yellow and blue at a young age, and now you guys are going to be the ones playing, or you already have, but you seniors got one more shot at it. And I thought that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. When Liam, in our post-game interview, you told me that you were at that game, and so I said I went back and found that footage, and it was easy to see you. I could tell that was you, but
yeah, when the buzz cut.
But definitely, that's definitely pretty cool. So, so your coach, you got a coach who's pretty well beloved throughout the Wayne Finger Lakes, well respected, coaches a lot of other sports too. Besides, does he coach any of you guys in anything other than basketball?
Lacrosse, he does.
Lacrosse, right?
Coaches last year in lacrosse.
So you seniors, talk about Coach O'Connor and what it's like being coached.
I mean, although he's a varsity coach, he's, like you said, it's been since 5th grade. Like, he'll tell you he was up in Rochester when we were playing, I don't remember where, but he was like to his wife, hey, you want to go watch these kids? Mm-hmm. She was like, what are you talking about? They're in 5th grade. But, I mean, that shows the dedication to the youth in the program. So. And
that had an impact on you at that young age to see the varsity coach there coming to watch you?
Anybody that's going to watch or like see your varsity coach there, I mean, it means something to you.
Yeah.
How about you, Seth?
Oh, yeah, no, it's from 5th grade or whatever, when he came up watching or helped us at practice, like Liam said, whenever your varsity coach is there, you're trying to, show him what you got, show him what you have in the future. But, no, you guys been a great guy. I love him as a coach and as a father figure for me, so.
Nice. How about you guys? What's a Coach O'Connor practice like?
Oh, they're always intense. He's always working us hard. If we don't, meet our requirements that we need, we're running, we're getting after, and we all feel dedicated to perform for the team. We're always on the line, hustling for each other, trying to get each other open, playing selflessly. It's a good time, though.
Yeah, definitely selflessly. I mean, that's I've seen you guys as a group probably play maybe 8 times in my life, or the past few years since you've been up on varsity. And a few of those games, there's been just moments where it's been next level, where you've kind of clicked in and everybody knows where everybody is, and it's amazing to watch when that happens. That obviously just comes from spending so many years playing with each other?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you just kind of get a feel. Like, we know what Jordan's going to do when he gets the ball. We know Seth's going to do his little shuffle pass when he gets stuck in the lane. But, yeah, you just know where everybody's going to move. You know their tendencies. It's just kind of team chemistry.
No, and then the guys on the bench. I mean, you see Carson Miller at during our games getting after it. Zach's flexing on him. Coda's jumping around. And
how do you say that kid's last name? Coda?
Blue Eye.
Dakota Blue Eye. Yeah.
Blue Eye.
Yeah.
Blue Eye. Okay, I remember that because I think before the year's out, he's going to hit a big shot on Finger Lakes 1.
Oh, yeah, we want him to.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you seniors, talk about these two guys next year. Liam, talk about Aidan. Just tell me about his game and what he brings to the team.
I mean, he's our lockdown defender. I mean, he always got the best ball handle. He's always got the point guard. Whoever we need to not get the ball, that's our man. And then right behind him, Zach, who's just as good. So we got him, and then he can get to the hole too. I mean, he does some crazy stuff during practice, just getting it through there. Yeah. Yeah,
I agree. Definitely great man-to-man defense. I see Aidan did it last year against some really good players in the postseason too. Seth, how about Jordan, your point guard?
Yeah, no, I mean, the biggest thing that stands out with Jordan's game is I guess he can knock down the three-point shot, pretty consistent. But more than that, he's like our floor general. He's the one. If there's, if we're running back and forth, he's the one that calm it down, slow the ball down, get back into our sets, kind of gathers us up as a group. But I think that's what stands out and makes him, a little bit different.
Is he almost a leader on the floor, even though he's a year younger than you seniors?
Oh yeah, I would say he's definitely that floor general. He's going to corral us and make sure what we're doing is correct and get everyone in the right positions.
Does he ever say stuff like, my dad's the athletic director? No. So you guys, Aidan, talk about Seth. You guys play lacrosse together, but talk about him on the basketball court.
Yeah, on the basketball court, in lacrosse, he's an intense player to start with, and in basketball, he brings the same intensity to the court. After being out for the first start of the season, and I would watch him in the weight room do his physical training multiple times, probably over what he needed to do just so that he could get back in the court early. I used to watch him lift, and he comes with a different feel to the game that gets us all motivated to play.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. And now, Jordan, about your senior big man.
I think main word that comes to my mind is consistency. He's always, every game, no matter what, he's always going to be there. He's going to show up.
Unless he gets in foul trouble early.
That's true. He's always going to show up on the bench. Yeah. But, yeah, he's always going to show up. He's always going to make that little post hook. He's always going to be in the right position on defense. He's just going to do the right thing every play down the floor. And you need someone like that to be your big guy on the floor.
Yeah, and I think that one of the keys to your postseason run is going to be that you're on the floor, Liam. And I've seen you've made a conscious effort to get better at that, I think. And really, honestly, that game against Lyons was the best game I've ever seen you play. Not just offensively, but positioning it on the court and staying out of foul trouble, but still being able to contest shots. It was really pretty good stuff there. And man, you had to go against Benji Kemp from Lyons that game. What was that like? Benji's a tough player.
We're friends. I play for Central Western, so I know him pretty well.
All right.
But yeah, it's always just competitiveness. Like, he hit a 3 in my face. I went down. I wasn't too happy, but I told him good game or good shot. And
and then you hit one, but your foot was on the line.
We cut off my toes the next day, so that'll be a 3 next game.
So, Coach, how about you? Talk about these guys that are in studio.
Talk about these guys. Yeah, Seth is definitely a motivation for anybody on a team. No matter what sport he plays, he's going 100% all the time. Liam, not a lot of teams have a big guy that can play 32 minutes, getting up and down the floor, beating the opponent up and down the floor as well. Cross country helps probably, I guess, in that aspect. Jordan's crafty. He's probably an annoying player to practice against. We do a 2v2 box out drill, and he's setting a pick for his teammate just to get him a wide open offensive rebound. They scheme things in practice to try to beat each other, and they're just so competitive. And then, Aidan the same way. Just in practice, he hawks people like crazy. And, sometimes if if we're missing a player, I have to get out there, and Aidan always wants to guard me. So I'm like, get away from me. But
how does that usually work out?
What's that?
How does that usually work out? When
it's all right. I can hold my own. I'm all right.
Sometimes.
But they get up in my face, and they're definitely more athletic than I am right now. So,
well, we're going to talk about C1 sectionals in a little more detail here. I'm going to run down some of the league standings and results and the classification standings here. But first, got to tell you that Generations Bank is celebrating 150 years of serving and supporting our hometowns. Visit mygenbank.com for the best choices in checking, savings, home equities, mortgages, and much more. Generations Bank has been the Finger Lakes Bank since 1870. Generations Bank, member FDIC. So, I'm going to start with the girls this week. Finger Lakes East girls. So, it's a two-team race at this point. Pelmac and Waterloo playing for the league title Friday night on FingerLakes1.com. You can watch that live. I'm calling that game with Mike Alessio. Both teams are 10-1. So Friday night in Waterloo, that's for the league. And everything else has pretty much come down to positioning for sectionals. Penn had a nice win against Marcus Whitman, 41-23. I'll ask you guys a little bit about your Marcus Whitman girls team in a second here. Then Waterloo really took it to Penn with a 30-point win. And then last night, Waterloo beat Minders pretty bad as well. And Minders girls also lost to Geneva this week. Really tough week for the Minders girls, who had been kind of been on an improving trajectory heading towards B2 sectionals, but definitely a setback week. They lost 52-24 last night. I was at that game, and it credit to Penn. They're deep. They have some good size, and they're athletic, but they held Minders at 24 points. Pelmac won game in their way before setting up that title game against Waterloo, and that was they had to go to Mid-Lakes, and they won 54-33. Pretty impressive victory against a solid Mid-Lakes team. So what does this mean for sectionals? Well, right now in Class B1, the Waterloo girls have locked up the number one seed in B1 with 81 sectional points. Behind them in 2 is Danville with 74, then Livonia, and then Pelmac at 67. So Pelmac could still leapfrog Livonia for that 3rd seed. They're about 8 points up on Batavia at the 5th seed, and then behind them would be Mid-Lakes with 51. So Waterloo has Pelmac at Wayne and at Geneva. Pelmac goes at Red Creek Monday night, then Newark at home and at Waterloo Friday, and then Penn at home, and Mid-Lakes is at Minders, at Geneva, and then home against Newark. So down in B2 with Minders and Penn Avon's the number 1 seed at the moment, but it's a pretty tight race with Wellsville and Penn, and then a big drop-off to get to Minders at 4, who's just holding on barely, a couple points ahead of Haverling. And Leroy still has a chance to. And I actually, Williamson could even maybe overtake 1 or 2 of those teams. So Minders is at 4 right now, but they could very easily drop out if they don't bounce back from this horrible week that they had, losing to Geneva for Geneva's only win of the year, and then at Penn. So Finger Lakes West girls, Bry Parzak's Lady Wildcats have a 1-game lead over Red Jacket, 2-game lead over Romulus, 3-game lead over Dundee, and they have to play at Dundee, home against Bloomfield, and at Red Jacket to end the season. So, I mean, this league race is going to be decided on the court. Red Jacket hosts South Seneca at Romulus, and then that Whitman game in Romulus, Red Jacket at Sodus, Dundee, and at South Seneca. So, your girls team, they've been kind of on the rise over the past season or so. To me, they play great defense. They have trouble scoring basketball. Liam, just kind of break down your girls team.
I mean, they've got Maddie Ryan, who's a big presence in the middle.
Yep.
So that offsets for a lot of it. And then they got lockdown defenders on the perimeters like Ari Beverly and Emily Paddock. So I mean, any one of them can have an outstanding night. So it's kind of just who's it going to be. It's a coin flip between all of them. Mm-hmm. So they got a lot of weapons.
Seth, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, I agree. They play great, intense defense, and I think that's what, when their defense clicks, their offense seems to follow. like Liam said, Maddie Ryan and the inside's always a force, and then guards and Emily Paddock and Ariana Beverly and Kelsey Tiffany contributing here and there. I think they've been on the rise. They're working hard, so they're going. Everything's going good for them.
Coach, how often do you talk to Coach Parzak or?
Quite a bit. I mean, a lot in passing. She's, definitely got a busier life with a newborn a few months ago, and then her and her.
Oh, a few months ago, like in season.
It was at the beginning of the season, right at the beginning of the season. So her and her husband kind of are co-coaching the team to make it work, and we chat a little bit. I go to a lot of their games that I can go to, and these guys kind of nailed it on the head. Ari just sees the floor so well. I mean, I haven't seen an athlete like her that can see the floor in a long time and knows what to do on defense as well. Katie Deathridge has hit the weight room so hard, and really she's been working extremely hard to get to the hoop and try to find ways to finish. But yeah, they bring a good presence to defense. I think the Parzaks do a nice job of game planning for different opponents, and I think Emily, with her quickness and speed, they put her on the better offensive person, and then Ari can kind of float around and sneak in and do what she needs to do. But yeah, they've done a nice job building that program and working for this league title. So.
And it's right there for them this week, but it won't be easy. Red Jacket, they got to go at Red Jacket to end the season, and something tells me that might be, win and they win the league, lose and they don't win the league. So that would be a really tough game against a really experienced Red Jacket team. That Dundee game going on the road at Dundee, that's a trap game, and even Bloomfield at home is something. So not going to be easy for them. And then I mentioned Romulus girls are only 2 games back, and they're down in Class D too. They're one of my sleeper teams to maybe make a run at a sectional title here on the girls' side. Wayne County Girls League is insane. Clyde Savannah right now holds a half-game lead over Lyons, a 1-game lead over Red Creek, 1.5 game over ER, and a 2-game lead over Gananda. So you got 5 teams within 2 games of the lead, and everybody's playing each other this week. Now, this past week there was 1 game of consequence in that Wayne County League. Clyde Savannah went to Red Creek, and Red Creek won 54-49 to kind of get back into the league race. In looking at Clyde's remaining schedule, they're at Lyons on Tuesday night, I think, 2/11. Yeah, that would be Tuesday night. Game of the year, usually it's the boys' Lions-Clyde games that get all the attention, but this time, this girls' game at the Atwood, league title implications. And then Clyde also has to host ER, so they're 9-3 in the league right now with a chance. If they finish 11-3, they've won the league. They drop one of those games, and somebody else could sneak in. So like Lions, they have to go at Red Creek still. They have to host ER as well. And then at Williamson, a combined Williamson-Marion team coached by Beth Record, a former Red Jacket great. And so Lions is 8-2 right now. So you can see how tight it is. Red Creek at Pelmac on Monday, that's out of league game. Then they go at ER and Lions at home. ER has Red Creek at Clyde, at Lyons, and even Gananda, North Rose Wolcott, and Williamson. The best Gananda can finish is 9-5, but if things fell a certain way, they could find themselves in a 3-way tie for that Wayne County League. So exciting stuff for the Wayne County girls. Going to kick it over to the boys' side now. But first, got to tell you about Little John Orthodontics. Dr. Rod, Little John, and Dr. Liz Barbie are proud to support our area high school athletes. Check out Dr. Rod and Dr. Liz online at littlejohnortho.com. So I'm going to start with the Finger Lakes East boys. And it's over. Wayne's going to win it. It's pretty amazing to me that you can lose your top 6 guys and come back and win the Finger Lakes East. They're undefeated in the Finger Lakes East still. Half game ahead of Geneva, 3 games over Waterloo, 4.5 over Newark. Heading into the year, we thought it was going to be Geneva, Waterloo, and Newark, a 3-way race, but Wayne just beat everybody that they put in front of him from the East, and Coach Thompson is going to capture that league title. It's one of the most impressive things I've seen in the past several years, the way that this next group has stepped up and really been unbeatable in the league. So Wayne plays Waterloo Monday night. It's supposed to be Friday night in a game that was going to be on Finger Lakes 1. That got rescheduled to Monday night. And Wayne's remain schedule, they got Penn Yan at Minders, and then on February 20th at Greece Arcadia, an A1 school. One last chance to prep for A2 sectional. So speaking of A2, right now Wayne is the second seed in a really difficult A2 bracket. East High is the top seed, and I think clearly the best team in the bunch. They knocked Wayne out last year in the semis. North Star Christian, the third seed, School of the Arts, fourth. So Wayne, if they should screw up, maybe lose to Waterloo, North Star Christian could overtake them if they win. But of course, you guys, Whitman could play a spoiler in that for them because you guys got North Star Christian coming up your last game of the season. So, Coach, you guys beat that North Star Christian team in Geneva. After we watched them pretty easily handle a tough Geneva team. So, talk about that game a little bit.
Collectively, I think that was one game this year that we've all just kind of clicked. We all came together. Excuse me. Defensively, we did our job. We kept guys in front of us for the most part. We made them shoot tough shots. And offensively, we really clicked. Scoring 76. I think that's what you said the score was, but that was a great overall game for us. A really good feeling, I guess, coming off of that loss to Geneva too. We knew we had to step up our rebounding because that's really where Geneva hurt us the most, and I felt like we did a nice job against North Star.
It was a 76-66 win around Christmas break, 2 days after Christmas, something like that. So you got Wayne, 2 seed in A1, or A2, out of the Finger Lakes East, and then the bulk of the Finger Lakes East teams are in Class B2. And right now, Geneva's the top seed in B2. They got it locked up pretty good with 57 points opposed to Batavia in 2 with 40. But then it's really tight between Batavia, Hornell, Waterloo, 2-3-4. Waterloo beat Hornell this year. At Hornell, they could easily that Wayne game would be a big win for them, but if they were to pull that upset against Wayne, they could hop into they could leapfrog Hornell, maybe even Batavia. And then down a little further, you got Newark as the 7th seed. They're not going to drop any lower than 7 no matter what happens, but there's a chance they could jump up to 6. Where Livonia sits right now. Mid-Lake's down at 9. North Rose Wolcott at 10. But Class B1 is going to be pretty great this year when that tournament gets underway. And then Class B2, Minders and Penn Yan. So Avon's number 1 here on this side. Wellsville's number 2. Nothing's going to change. Those are pretty much locked in. A total collapse by Wellsville. I guess Leroy might be able to overtake them at 3. And then you have Haverling, Penn Yan at 4 and 5, separated by just 1 point right now. So Penn Yan could jump into that top 4. And then you have Wayland, Cohocton, and Minders. Now Minders is tight with Waco. Waco's 6, Minders is 7. 2 points separate them, but below them, World of Inquiry at 8. They're well back, so you're not going to see any major movement, but you could see Penn Yan get up to 4 and not drop below 5, and then you could see Minders jump up to 6, but not drop below 7. So we're getting pretty set here. Now, Finger Lakes West boys, Marcus Whitman's former league, Red Jacket clinched the league with a 4-game lead right now over Honeoye, 5.5 over Bloomfield and South Seneca. So looking at sectional standings, actually I want to look at D1. I'll look at the C sectional standings after we talk about Wayne County. But Class D1, Honeoye is the 5th seed right now. Honeoye's been a little bit of a surprise team, I think, this year. Just judging how competitive they've been in a lot of their games. Sometimes you pass off it on Class D and don't think much of it, but Avoca's a really good program, a really good team, as well as Fillmore, Genesee Valley. So Honeoye's going to have their hands full, but they're in it. They 5th seed, they have a shot to make a run. And I also thought the Romulus boys have a great shot to make a run, but they're currently 7th right now, top seed in D2. Elba is also a very good program. So Wayne County boys, last league we got to talk about here this morning. Lyons holds a 2-game lead over Gananda right now. They beat Gananda twice too, so let's just call it a lock. Lyons is going to win the Wayne County League again this year. 2.5-game lead over Clyde, who they play coming up next week, and 3.5 game over East Rochester. And sectional point standing wise, starting out in C2, since we were just talking about Lyons, Lyons has got a 32-point lead over second seed Geneseo at this point. So that's going to be set. Clyde Savannah's the 3rd seed. They're tied with Perry right now, who's for the 3rd seed. So that could shake out. You could see a Lyons-Clyde matchup somewhere in sectionals. That would be kind of cool. But, Geneseo, I think, is the biggest threat to Lyons winning another sectional title. But heavy favorites. Been without Justin Smith with a foot injury. I'm not exactly sure why he didn't play against Whitman, but they need to get him back on the court. Otherwise, it won't be the odds won't be so great on Lyons just walking through to the Blue Cross and winning their school's 20th straight sectional, or 20th sectional title, not straight. But C1, all right, this is great. This C1 is great. How much you guys look at the sectional standings throughout the course of the year?
I mean, not a whole lot, but we see it. It comes and goes.
How about you guys? You keep an eye on it?
Oh,
We
yeah.
look at it all the time.
I look at it a lot.
Well, it's pretty interesting right now. You guys, excuse me. Red Jackets, the top seed. They got that locked up at this point, and you guys are the 2nd seed. Gananda's right nipping at your heels, though, just 2 points back. You guys have a tough schedule, coming up to end the season. Gananda, I guess I don't know what difference there is between 2 and 3 seed, Coach. There really isn't much, right? You just want to get in that top 4, maybe?
Yeah, the top 4 gets a bye
Yeah.
in our bracket, and so that would be nice to have a top 4. Between 2 and 3, I think it just depends on the next round who you would play. I think it's the 6 to 10 or 11 or whatever. I haven't really planned it out as much this year yet. But 2 or 3 would still see number 1 or 4 or 5, later in the rounds. But you're right. There's a bulk of teams right there that we just don't know about. That when you get to sectionals, everybody's 0-0. So
that's right.
And in Gananda, I know Coach Jeff Thompson. He does a great job over there. They got a lot of guards, but
2 great guards.
Yeah, and he always does. He adjusts to make his team the best they can be with whatever personnel they have. ER, same thing. Great coach over there. Byron Burgeon, I don't know much about yet.
They're the 4th seed right now.
So I'm gonna, I'm definitely doing some homework on them. But it could be. And then you get down to what? It's Finney at 7.
That's the thing that's scary. Because Finney is 8 and 9, I think, right now is the record. But they have Marcus Robinson, who scored 60 points in a game and 56 points in a game. And to me, when I saw that, I was thinking, oh man, how would you like to be Red Jacket or Whitman or Gananda, but one of these top 3 teams, and then you're going to face a quarterfinal game against CG Finney.
Yeah. I mean, I talked to Coach Marchand yesterday. Actually, I went up to watch a game, and he was there, and he's saying that Marcus is averaging 40 plus, and the team is averaging
9th grader.
Yeah, 9th grader, and the team's averaging 20 for the rest of the team.
Right.
So. He's seen a lot of different looks. Diamond or box and 1, triangle and 2. He's even seen a team throw 3 guys at him when he has the ball and then just jump off of him. So, it was interesting to talk to Coach Marchand, yesterday. But that would be an interesting quarterfinal game for anybody, really. But he's a tough player. He's a tough player.
Yeah, it's kind of scary to think that could be a quarterfinal game. That's at the very least maybe a semifinal game against a team like that. Well, again, they're not the same CG Finney they were last year, but when you have the most prolific offensive player in Section 5, I don't see how that could be a fun matchup in a quarterfinal round of sectionals. So, you guys are going to be either 2 or 3 seed here, no matter what happens. Red Jacket's going to be 1. Byron Burgeon's pretty much locked in at 4. They aren't going to get higher. They could drop behind Rochester Academy, I suppose. So it would be Whitman or Gananda. And then, the other thing that's exciting is beyond sectional championships would be that Class C tournament to play into the states. Could produce a rematch with Lyons. But I'm getting way ahead of myself. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed for maybe a Whitman Red Jacket matchup along the way. But so with so much focus on sectional title this year for you guys, how disappointing would it be if you don't win it? Because the odds are still against you. It's like hard to win a sectional title unless you're Lyons. They seem to win a lot of them, but for everybody else, it seems really difficult to win. I've seen really, really good teams, fall short of a sectional title. So what happens this year if it doesn't happen? How do you look at your whole high school basketball experience?
I mean, it's not going to be a failure.
Yeah.
I mean, we still are. I consider us a really good team.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it would hurt a lot, but it's not going to dampen what we have done.
Right. You feel the same way, Seth? Or?
Yeah,
Right.
It would be disappointing, I think, but it's, you look upon like, what we've done, from 5th grade all the way up through varsity and stuff, it's going to hurt not if we don't get a sectional title, but, looking back on it, I'm sure, having fun with, these guys for I don't know how many years, but it'll be, looking back on it, we'll be fine.
Sure. Also, it's Class C3 sectional standings. Cal Mum is the top seed right now, just 2 points ahead of York. York team that beat Red Jacket for Red Jacket's only loss a couple weeks ago. And then you got Oakfield, Alabama, Lyndonville, South Seneca, a 5 seed. But a huge gap, a 40-point gap between the 4 and 5 seed in sectional points. HAC at 6 and Dundee at 7. So a lot in C3, there's a lot of Finger Lakes West teams as well, just not teams that have been near the top of the standings right now, but they're going to be 5, 6, 7 seed right there in C3. Maybe one of them can make a run. I know that all 3 of those teams, HAC, Dundee, and South Seneca, have been playing better. So get to the power rankings here, but first got to tell you about DeSanto Propane, offering monthly billing and fixed rates. Get stable pricing all year long. Learn more at DeSantoPropane.com. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto. So let's start with the girls. And there you have it. Number 1, Palmac. Number 2, Waterloo. Friday night, live on FingerLakes1.com. You can watch those two teams clash live and with a league title on the line. And then you have Mid-Lakes 3. Penn Yan jumps all the way up to 4. I think they were 6 last week. Lyons 5, Whitman 6, Red Jacket 7, Minders drops to 8, Clyde Savannah 9, and then Red Creek and Romulus tied as they were last week at 10. Only one more poll, I think, remaining here before we turn the page towards sectionals. So let's kick it over and look at the boys' side right now, where we have Wayne number 1, Geneva number 2. Whitman jumps up to 3 after beating Lyons in convincing fashion. I don't, Tootie Smith didn't play. I think it would have been a closer game if he did, but I don't think it would have changed the outcome. And it's interesting because Seth didn't play the first time. Seth Benedict didn't play the first time against Lyons. Tootie Smith didn't play the second time, right? Seth, you didn't play that first game? No. So, maybe if we do see a potential down the road matchup between Whitman and Lyons, they'll both be at full strength for the first time this year. Waterloo 5, climbing back up after dropping as low as 7. And Red Jacket boys 6. Minders boys improving, getting better. That young team getting better every game, I think, with a nice win against Penn Yan yesterday in Seneca Falls. And then tomorrow night it's going to be Minders and Whitman in Seneca Falls on Finger Lakes 1. Newark falling to 8. They beat Palmac by 1 point yesterday. They need to pull something together here before this regular season ends with sectionals on the horizon. Penn Yan boys at 9, and Gananda with Gabbard and Bronco in the backcourt at 10. So one more poll next week, and that's it for the power rankings. Want to tell you about Bill Cram Chevrolet. All roads lead to Bill Cram Chevrolet on 5 and 20 between Seneca Falls and Waterloo. Browse their full inventory of new and used vehicles online at BillCramChevrolet.com. Week ahead here, just games of significance here. Monday night on the boys' side, Whitman at Minders. That's always an interesting one. Now last year, you guys remember that game last year? You guys came into Seneca Falls. You guys were overhyped, I think. Were you?
Yeah, because there's like that crossover, right?
Yeah, everybody wanted to see it.
Yeah.
I told some guys from St. Falls, they were like, I'm not going to name any names, but they were like, like we're going to kill Whitman. I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think you're going to kill Whitman. I think it's going to be a good game. They're like, no, we're going to be, they have East-West thing. And so I was wrong last year. You guys got to hand it to you pretty good. But then you played Minders already this year in Rushville, and you held them to 35 points and had an easy win. So I know that from seeing a lot of them here in Seneca Falls that they're getting better as the year goes on. I do anticipate a pretty good game Monday night. But what do you guys think about that matchup with Minders on Monday?
I mean, any game when you go into that gym is a good game. I mean, I watched your podcast, or the Finger Lakes one of them against Waterloo last week. So, I mean, they're getting better every day. Yeah, so it'll be a good game.
Romulus at Dundee in the West on Monday night as well, and that Wayne-Waterloo game rescheduled to Monday night from Friday, which means, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to be there for that one. Wednesday night, Red Jacket at South Seneca, Bloomfield at Romulus, Clyde at Gananda, Hornell at Whitman. So you get Hornell back after, for some reason, I was thinking you guys beat Hornell a lot this year. I think I said it on this show several times, but you didn't. They beat you. They're a good team. They've played Geneva, Waterloo, you guys, Newark. I think they beat Newark. I think they lost to Waterloo and Geneva. Talk about your game against Hornell, Seth.
Yeah, no, it was a tough game. I'm not going to take anything away from Hornell. Like you said, they're a really good, tough ball club, and I don't think we played to our full potential, but there was at their place. The crowd was into it. They shot lights out. They played defense up in your face, and Hornell was a good ball club. So
yeah, that'd be interesting to see how they do, how you guys do when they come to your gym on Wednesday night. And Friday night, Penyans at Wayne, Romulus at Red Jacket, Newark at Geneva. And then the big one in Wayne County, Lyons at Clyde Savannah. On the girls' side, Monday night, Red Creek's at Palmac. That's a kind of a weird one, but a couple of Wayne County, located in Wayne County. Palmac in the east, obviously. Tuesday night, girls, Romulus at Bloomfield, South Seneca at Red Jacket, Whitman at Dundee, Mid-Lakes at Minders, and then Clyde at Lyons is probably the biggest girls' basketball game for Clyde or Lyons in the past 5 to 10 years. Tuesday night. Thursday night, girls, Red Jacket at Romulus. Big game in the West. Bloomfield at Whitman. Lyons at Red Creek. Gananda at Williamson. And then Friday night's the big one. Palmac at Waterloo for the Finger Lakes East title. So coming up this week, Monday night, Whitman at Minders, 7:25 p.m. I'll be calling that game with Kevin Sharp. Friday night, Palmac at Waterloo Girls, 7:25. Another full broadcast. I'm calling that again with Mike Alessio. And then coming up the following week on Tuesday the 18th, we're going to do Geneva at Waterloo at 7:30. And then the following night, Wednesday night, Romulus Girls at South Seneca Girls to round out our regular season of webcasting. So time for quick fire questions. So I'm going to ask you guys questions. Just answer quickly, not much thinking about it, and we'll see how we do here. Let's start with Aidan. Who's the best player you had to guard this year?
Ooh,
quick fire.
I'd probably say Tootie.
Tootie's?
Yeah.
The first time around?
Yeah, he's a big guy, tough to guard, and he's able to recognize the mismatch that he was able to get down to the post and had to work me a little bit.
Really good athlete, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Jordan? Best player you've had to guard this year?
Probably, I can't remember his name, from Hornell, their quick little point guard that they have.
Your point guard? I've watched him on Peisch Sports. I don't know if you've ever seen any of those games that they stream on Peisch Sports. So I know who you're talking about. I can't come up with his name either.
Quick, crafty, he can get around you. He was tough to guard.
Liam, how about you?
I mean, any other big guys from Weedsport, they're all big. And
those Weedsport kids were really the toughest you faced this year, huh? Man, we don't see much of Weedsport over there in Section 3. Seth, how about you, toughest player?
Yeah, toughest player. What's the kid's name from North Star? Number 5.
Smith.
Sean Smith?
Yeah, he was really good. Quick, explosive, can finish in a variety of ways. I would say he was the toughest.
Yeah, things opened up for him with the Brown brothers graduating. That all of a sudden, because he was like kind of a role player on that team, but he still had some nice offensive nights. But now he's their focal point of their offense, along with the coach's kid there, Garwood, a great shooter. Toughest place you played this year? Let's go left to right again. Put all the pressure on Aidan to start out.
I'd say Hornell. Even though they've got a small gym, their student section came ready and all wild up, and you could hear them with the acoustics of the gym. They were just loud.
Huh?
So,
yeah, Hornell.
yeah.
How about you, Jordan?
I'd say probably Weedsport. It was just kind of different atmosphere out there. I don't know. It was just tight gym. Then they were big guys.
Full
gym.
court house. Did they pack them in?
Small bleachers, so full house on the small bleachers, and it was just really loud in there.
Now I've seen you before games where with your dad. You came to a Lyons game. We were broadcasting. So you just like to get out to random games when you can.
Yeah, when he's free, which isn't that often, we'll try to go catch a game, and we usually know which games we want to go see. We circle them on the calendar. And I think that was Lyons Clyde that we went to the other year, and that was obviously a good game.
That was an amazing game.
And it's just cool seeing other games, seeing how good teams are. Just interesting.
So, how about you guys? Toughest place to play?
I'd agree with Jordan with Weedsport. I mean, the court, it's regulation, but it seems small because, I mean, my foot couldn't even fit on the sideline next to the three-point.
Tougher there than the Atwood?
Yeah.
Lions?
I mean, the Atwood's just small, but I mean, it's like any other gym.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, Weedsport's tough, but I'm going to agree with Aidan. I think Hornell was the toughest place. That student section really came ready for it. So.
Huh. All right. So let's go the other way now. Seth, what's your favorite sports movie?
Sports movie. Oh, goodness. Friday Night Lights.
Is that a show or a movie?
That was a movie.
Okay. Yeah, it was a show too, right?
Yeah.
Liam, how about you?
Coach Carter.
Coach Carter. All right. Fellas, how about you guys?
Probably When the Game Stands Tall.
Okay.
Football movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna say Hoosiers.
Nice. Hoosiers. Nobody says Hoosiers. You think you get that more often here. Coach, how about you? You got a favorite sports movie?
I like Jordan's choice, When the Game Stands Tall.
When the Game Stands
Tall? Really cool movie. Yeah.
All right. Aidan, you got an Android or iPhone?
I have an iPhone.
And you?
iPhone.
And Seth? Or Liam and
I
Seth?
got an iPhone.
I got Android.
Yeah, nice.
Google, yeah.
One guy is not under the spell of Apple. And
Android with the Apple headphones.
you can use universal connectors to charge it. You don't have to buy a special one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, good to see that. You're a good kid. Good kid. Favorite place to eat?
Oh, man. Charlie Rydell's in Canandaigua.
Rydell's, okay.
Jack's Kitchen in Rushville. Or Jack's Diner.
Jack's Diner in Rushville, huh? Downtown Rushville?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things is
All right, how about you guys?
probably Eddie O'Brien's.
Eddie O'Brien's in Geneva or Canandaigua?
Doesn't really matter.
You've
Probably
been to both?
Canandaigua because it's closer.
Okay, yep. All right.
The Parkers or Eddie O'Brien's in Geneva, both those places we frequent a lot.
Right next door there.
Yep.
Okay. Favorite college basketball team? You guys follow college basketball?
Yeah.
Okay, who do you
Yeah,
like?
I'm a big Syracuse fan.
Good for you. Good for you, Jordan.
Indiana.
The Hoosiers of Indiana,
Yep.
huh?
Yep.
How come?
I don't know. I like the pants. Those are
Oh.
pretty. Those are pretty nice.
They beat Syracuse in 1986. They made me cry. I was a freshman in high school. All right, favorite college team?
Syracuse.
Nice.
I should say Lemoyne, but it will probably Kansas. I'm a big Jayhawks.
The
fan.
Jayhawks?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we beat them in the national title.
Yeah.
Syracuse did, not me personally. All right. So, Seth, who would you, if you had to only choose one game to play for the rest of your life, lacrosse or basketball, which would it be?
Oh,
It's
man.
hypothetical.
Yeah.
Quickfire.
Oh man, I'd probably say lacrosse.
Sure, that's fine. I mean, you're gonna go. That's where you're gonna play at the next
Yeah.
level, right? You know Bill Thompson from Wayne at all?
Yeah,
He's up.
yep.
He's there already playing
Yep.
lacrosse. So you guys will be teammates.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever talk to him at all?
Yeah, when I did my visit, I talked to him a little bit. Yeah, I talked basketball and lacrosse
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. No, Billy's a good kid.
Yep, I agree. Who's your early favorite to win the Super Bowl next year?
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Steelers? Oh, that's a long shot. Liam, you got
Mafia.
Bills?
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
okay, that's a good local answer. How about you guys?
Yeah,
Got
definitely Buffalo.
Buffalo
Yeah,
Bills.
yeah.
All right, got some Bills fans. What's your favorite dinner that mom or grandma would make for you? And what's your favorite home cooked meal?
Oh, I'd probably say steak. steak with homemade seasoning.
Yep, I go with that too.
You guys like steaks, huh? Okay. Fellas?
Grandma's lasagna.
Lasagna.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Predergast, that's not Italian.
No.
But she still makes good lasagna.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Really good.
Oh man, that's a tough one. I would say my mom's spaghetti. She does a really good job making spaghetti. Yeah.
Okay. Got a favorite teacher?
At Whitman.
Yeah, or anywhere. I guess you go to Whitman, so.
Melissa Butler probably.
Okay, Liam, how about you?
Tom Barton.
Barden?
Yeah.
Now, wasn't there something named after him, a tournament or something in Whitman? Or maybe it was Dale Bardone. It was a different school. It was at Victor. It was called the Dale Barden Classic. Anyway, getting off topic. Favorite teachers?
Probably Mr. Sohn. He's calculus teacher.
Mr. Stone?
Sohn.
Sohn.
Yep.
Sohn, okay.
I'm probably going to have to go with David Shuey.
David Shuey?
Yep.
And what does he teach?
He's a tech teacher.
Okay.
At Whitman High School.
All right. Favorite breakfast cereal?
Cocoa Puffs.
Okay.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
We get that a lot. Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Honey Bunches of Oats.
That's a good one.
Rice Krispies.
Just straight up Rice Krispies. That's
Oh, yeah.
old school. Man, you're a throwback. You're a throwback. All right. Just a couple more here. Best sports accomplishment, Seth.
Yeah, oh man. State honors for lacrosse probably.
Okay. Liam?
My state appearances for cross country.
For cross country, okay. And you guys still juniors, but it could be anything. What's your favorite?
Probably the Geneva tournament. I think I got like all tournament team at that Geneva
Yeah,
tournament.
with some really good teams there. Yep.
Yeah, mine's probably going to be my state appearances throughout my high school career for cross country.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that would certainly stand out getting the states. So we know what Seth's doing after high school, Liam. How about you?
I'm hoping to go to college. I'm not really sure where yet, but I want to study chemical engineering.
Chemical engineering. My dad studied chemical engineering, actually. I think I don't know if some of the science has changed over the past 50 years, but no preference yet is where. Do you have any interest in playing any type of athletics?
RIT, I might be playing basketball there, but I'm not sure yet.
Okay. And you guys are just juniors, but have you thought about what's next?
Not really sure what college, but I'm thinking going into a biomedical field, whatever college I choose, but that's kind of the field I want to go into.
Okay, how about you, Aidan?
Yeah, just like Jordan, I haven't really looked at colleges too much, but I'm kind of interested in chiropractic, stuff
Okay,
like that.
yeah. Well, first you better find out how to say it. I'm not sure what's right either, but you said chiropractic or chiropractic. I don't know if those are official words, but there's a college right here in Seneca Falls. It's a grad school, though, for chiropractic. So, one last thing here, and we'll start with you juniors. Give a shout out to anyone who's helped you kind of along the way, whether it's in sports or personally, just anybody that you want to recognize.
I'm going to say my mom, Liz Royston. She's helped me since youth basketball with all sports. She was the one that initially pushed me to do cross country too, because I started and I was too little to play Mod A football, so she kind of directed me towards cross country, and that's where I've kind of come to shine.
Now, she's assistant coach on the team?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's it like having your mom on the bench?
Oh, geez, she's always harping me, telling me what to do, but she brings a good feel to the team. She's a really intense coach, and she leads a lot of the defensive aspects of our team, and I believe that she plays a huge role on the team.
Okay, how about you, Jordan?
Probably Coach Brandon Herod. He was our youth basketball coach all the way up, and he put in the key concepts like accountability. He's famous for his halftime speeches that didn't always make sense, but we knew the spirit was there.
Right, yeah, well, there's nothing like a good halftime speech. Liam, anybody that you want to recognize?
Brian Wickham. He was our mod. I took his probably.
Yeah.
But, he coached my dad. He coached his dad. He's been
oh, wow.
Yeah, he's been around a long time, and he's just a very wise man.
Yeah.
And you would say the same thing then?
I would say Brian Wickham. Yeah, he coached me modified football. Taught me a lot of valuable lessons from football, basketball, and then life lessons along the way as well.
Okay, great. So now, Coach, I'm going to ask you the same thing, but first I just wanted you to recognize some of the other kids on your team. We can only fit 4 up here.
Yeah.
I know you guys are a great team beyond just these 4, so I give you a chance to talk about some of the other players.
Noah has been another starter. Noah and Ryan actually have been other starters for us, and Ryan brings that southpaw to the team, and really he's a aggressive defender as well. And Lyons, that last game, he might not have had his best shooting game or whatever, but he really stepped up on defense for us. I think he was guarding JC at the time, and really did a nice job boxing out, getting the rebounds. Noah. He, like you said, with Jordan in the second half, Noah had an 8-point first half. So, that just the balance of our team is phenomenal, where one guy might go off at one point and then get a little cold and somebody else steps up and then they go off. And so it's nice to have that shared ability. I think Zach is going to push everybody in practice. Nobody's beat him in sprints yet. So I think that's...
I did yesterday. Come on.
Really? I don't know.
That was 2 letters.
He's intense.
Zach Lovejoy.
Zach Lovejoy. He brings a lot to the team. Carson, Dakota. They really again they step up when they have to. And if we didn't have them to push everybody in practice, I wouldn't we wouldn't have the team we did. And truly, I feel like I gave a lot of props to Carson and Zach in the first Miners game, because we were kind of in a little slump, and then I threw them in, and they really brought some energy on defense and created some turnovers and some offensive looks. So and then Connor, our lone sophomore, he's crafty.
Connor told me it seems like he could be sneakily like one of the best players on the team.
Yeah, he's had some huge games for us where he comes off, the bench, 6th man, 7th man, whatever it may be, and all of a sudden, 8 quick points later, and he's really helped us out, extend some leads. But
second year on varsity, right?
He came up last year as a freshman.
Well, same thing to you. Well, first, before I let you answer that question. Aidan's mom's on the bench, but your dad's on the bench too, right?
Yeah, he keeps me in line.
He seems to want more and more spotlight on him.
Yeah, I should have invited him. But he's fun. It's been a pleasure to have my dad out there. And really, he does everything that I don't think of to help out the team in terms of keeping stats or fouls or keeping the timeouts or letting me know where we're at with whatever we have to, the little stats on the sideline. So it's been nice having him there. Like Aidan said, Coach Royston brings a different dynamic to a team. I mean, she was a great player herself at Whitman and William Smith. So she brings a lot of experience from being coached under Coach Tuck as well. So that was her coach.
Wow, that's crazy.
So the amount of experience that we have around the gym is great. Coach Harrod had been coaching for 20 years or so, and he was our JV coach last year. But yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you, is there anybody you want to give a shout out? But you just mentioned so many people. Is there anybody else that we're missing that really supports this Whitman program that maybe deserves a mention?
I mean, Mr. Lahue, he's always in the gym with us as well, getting in there, and he wants to be around. But he supports every program, He just kind of hugs the gym a little bit more. He was a basketball player himself. He really is a great shooter, and he focuses a lot on the guys and their shot. So he gets in there. I don't know, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my wife, who's the number one supporter, of this whole entire program. I mean, she's making the guys cookies every once in a while, team dinners, helping out. I mean, we're going to head over to a team brunch after this at the Harrods, and they're probably helping out right now. But she's a huge supporter of this team and this program all the way through.
So Jordan, who wins the shooting contest between you and your dad?
Me. He disagrees, but we just have this confidence about us. Every single time we think we're gonna win, no matter what, and it's always close. But
there's no hesitation in that answer. So. Well, look, guys, thanks a lot for coming in, and really, really enjoy watching you guys play through the years, and the program itself is strong. So I'm going to look forward to seeing you guys as seniors and see what next year's iteration looks like. And I've really enjoyed watching both you kids play. For the past 4 years. Whitman basketball is always something when we get a Whitman game on our schedule, I always get excited. No matter who it is, whether you're underdogs or favorites, it's always fun to watch you guys play. I'm rooting for you in sectionals. I would love to see that Red Jacket Whitman game for sure. But I certainly, watching the way the program has kind of progressed through the years, it feels kind of like a natural progression this year that you might be able to get that title. And then you can change the coach, you can change the combination on the lock to 2020.
2020, yeah.
So, yeah, thanks, Coach, for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
And good luck rest of the way.
Thank you.
So, there you have it. We got another episode in the books. Thanks to our sponsors, Generations Bank, Little John Orthodontics, and DeSanto Propane, and Bill Cram Chevrolet. Thanks for joining us on the Upstate Hoops Podcast. Connect with us on Twitter at Finger Lakes 1. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Our audio-only podcast is available on iTunes and Stitcher.com. Archived episodes available at fingerlakes1.tv, and this podcast airs weekly on Sunday night on Finger Lakes TV Spectrum Channel 1304. You can also find our show, live stream games, and local news, weather, and sports 24/7 on the free fingerlakes1.com Android or iPhone app. So just a couple more weeks left in the regular season, and then it's on to sectionals. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back here next Sunday night, but we'll see you tomorrow night at our Thrill Baker Gym in Seneca Falls.